Okay, it is 7 p.m. Welcome to, it is actually Wednesday, December 8th, 2021, and welcome to the Townsend Conservation Commission meeting. The meeting is now open under the Wetlands Protection Act and the Townsend Wetland Bylaw. We're going to start with roll call.
Joan Savoy, present.
Thank you. Jim LeQueer. Is Jim and Ann here?
You guys are muted.
You're muted.
Oh, okay. Ann LeQueer.
Present. Right
James
here.
Gates.
Present.
And Jennifer Eaton is present. Okay, great. This meeting is being recorded. Is anyone else recording tonight? Okay. Okay, 1.3, chairman's additions and or deletions. I do not have any additions or deletions. That brings us to 1.4, agent's report. Jessica's report. She has 3 building permit building department permit sign-offs, 10 North End Road, 54 Barker Hill Road, and site visit only to 114 Old Turnpike Road. We've completed our referrals for HF Street and 233 Main. And she's done 2 septic sign-offs, one for 39 Turnpike Road and 78 Turner Road. And coordination for public education for the town's MS4 EPA stormwater permit compliance. And everything else looks like we'll be discussing on tonight's agenda. Okay, so that brings us to Chair's report. I just have an announcement. I just want to say that for now, the meetings will stay virtual and remind everyone to be visible and heard when voting. Okay, 1.6, review and approve the meeting minutes from 10:13, 10:27, and 11:10. Did everybody get a chance to look those over?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Madam
So
Chair,
can I get a, yes,
I was going to make the motion to approve the 10/13/21 meeting minutes.
Second.
great. Can I get a second?
I did.
Okay, great. Okay. So Joan Savoy, are you in approval of the meeting minutes from 10/13/2021?
Yes.
Ann LeQueer, are you in approval of the meeting minutes?
Yes.
Jim LeQueer, are you in approval of the 10/13 minutes?
Yes.
James Gates, are you in approval of the 10/13/21 meeting minutes?
Yes.
Okay, and I, Jennifer Eaton, are in approval of the 10/13 minutes. Okay. Next, can I get a motion to approve the 10/27/21 minutes?
I motion to approve the 10/27/21 minutes.
Second.
Okay, great. James Gates, do you approve the 10/27 minutes?
Yes.
Joan Savoy, do you approve the 10/27 minutes?
Yes.
Ann LeQueer, do you approve the 10/27 minutes?
Yes. We're having problems with our camera. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I can see his face. Jim, do you approve the 10/27 minutes?
Yes, I do. Sorry. I never said I was an electrician.
I can make out the face. It's good. Okay, and I, Jennifer Eaton, approve the 10/27 minutes. All right, that brings us to the 11:10 minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the 11:10 meeting minutes?
I make a motion to approve the 11/10/21 minutes.
I second it.
Okay.
I'm getting dizzy, Ann and Jim.
Sorry. It's just
Nice.
not, it's just not staying where we want.
The maid was in and did the dusting today. This is the result.
Joan Savoy, do you approve the 11/10/21 meeting minutes?
Yes.
James Gates, do you approve the 11/10/21 meeting minutes?
Yes.
Okay, and Jim LaQueer, do you approve the 11/10/21 meeting minutes?
One of those, yes.
Yes. And Ann LaClaire, do you approve the 11/10/21 meeting minutes?
Yes.
Okay, and I, Jennifer Eaton, approve the 11/10/21 meeting minutes. Great. And great job on the meeting minutes to Matt. That was
Really. Really,
incredible.
Matt.
Thank you.
You're a wizard.
Thank you, Matt.
Okay. Okay, the time is 7:07 and we have a 7:10 p.m. request for amended order of conditions, DEP 308-0673 and TWB 2021-113. The applicant is Townsend Hill Realty
Madam
Trust.
Chair, Madam
Yes.
Chair, you should wait till 7:10, I suggest, just in case. Is everybody here for that hearing?
Ryan, you're representing Bill
I
Roy,
am.
right? In the applicant?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Is Ken joining us tonight?
Not that I'm aware of, but I haven't spoken with him, so I cannot confirm.
Okay.
Okay, so, and you're here on behalf of the applicant for Townsend Hill Realty Trust?
I am, yes.
Okay, great. The hearing's now open under the Wetlands Protection Act and the Townsend Wetland Bylaw. And project is supplementary information has been submitted to restore an area of the fire pond that was pumped and disturbed during the installation of the fire hydrant and water supply line. Does anybody have any, has everybody looked at the amended order of conditions that came through? Yep. Does anybody have anything to add to that?
No.
I have a question, please. How
Yes,
do we
Joan.
know, Madam Chair, how do we know the abutters have been notified?
If I'm not mistaken, if I may speak, if I'm not mistaken, Dillis and Roy did that, and they had a list. I thought they were going to be here tonight, but they had a list that the abutters were notified.
I believe they were notified. I'm trying to pull up if we have the green card or certificate. Yep, I have the mail receipts in front of me here. I'm working on behalf of Stan today. So did he send those over to you, Jessica?
No, he did not. But we did get that list of certified abutters.
Okay.
If you're able to quickly send that to me, if it's just in one PDF, I can forward it out to the group right now. But
Absolutely. Yep. So I have the certified green card receipts
Okay,
from the
perfect.
certified
Okay,
mailing, so-
thank you.
Yep.
That's fine. We're a little bit early. We're ahead of schedule, so.
I just sent those over, Jessica.
thank you.
Okay, great.
All right. Yes, looks like we have about a dozen receipts. So that sounds about right. I don't have the list, or no, we do have the abutters. Let's see. No, I don't, sorry. Yeah, so it looks like we have all the abutter receipts, so that's good. So they were notified at least 5 days before this hearing. So that meets the notification requirement.
Okay. Okay, so also everybody received Jessica's email that contained her observations that she made on 12/1.
Yes,
Okay, great. And does anybody have anything to add?
no.
Okay,
I think her observation was right on the money.
okay, great.
We did, the first round of materials that they submitted, and I did notify you all, was that they did not plan to de-water again for the second time. But during our site visit last week, the water was literally overflowing at the banks. So trying to complete the work underwater was not an option at that point. They're proposing to drain the pond. It is pretty obvious that it's groundwater fed. So it's unlikely with how wet it's been that they'd be able to keep up with completely taking the water out of the pond. But I think they're going to work as fast as they need to. I think the work can be done in a day. So I think it'll be pretty quick and efficient. And I know to have their ENS installed and just properly install the hydrant this time around. So I think for our concern, it's more so restoring the disturbance that was unpermitted last time. And based on the materials submitted by the applicant, I think that will be a good plan this time with what they're proposing to do.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay. So if nobody has any questions or anything to add, does anybody want to make a motion to approve the amended order of conditions?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Motion
Madam
to,
Chair, that would be based on the 12-3 plans, I would say, in the motion.
motion to approve the 12/3 request for amended order of conditions for DEP 308-0673 and TWB 2021-113. Joan Savoy, are you in favor?
Yes.
James Gates, are you in favor?
Yes.
Ann LaQuere, are you in favor?
Yes,
And Jim LaQuere, are you in favor?
Yes.
And I, Jennifer Eaton, am in favor. So that's all in favor for amended order of conditions as of 12/3.
Great. Thank you all for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
happy holidays.
Yes, happy holidays to you.
Thanks. Okay,
Make a motion to close the hearing.
close the hearing. Exactly,
Seconded.
thanks. Okay,
Sorry, can I interrupt?
sure.
How do you want to proceed? Do you want me to draft a new order of conditions or an amended attachment B? Because they currently have the form, what is it, Form 8, whatever the order of conditions form is, and then an attachment A associated with it. Would you like me to draft an attachment B? Or do you want to just do like a letter of approval or something?
Go for the letter of approval.
Okay.
Second,
I'll work on the wording because I know in their current order of conditions, it says in several locations that they are not allowed to dewater or remove pond substrate material. So I'll just work on it. But I'll do the letter, and then would you guys like to review and vote on that for your next meeting, or would you just like to come in and review in the next couple of weeks?
We have to expedite this, so we gotta make sure we make this thing flow, right? They're battling the weather up there, so.
Right.
I'm with Jim on that.
Yeah, me too.
Okay,
Right.
so we have a motion and a second to approve sending a letter to the applicant, Townsend Hill Realty Trust, outlining the amended order of conditions and the conditions that Jessica stated. All right, so Jim LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes,
Joan Savoy, are you in favor?
Yes,
James Gates, are you in favor?
Yes.
Ann LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes,
Okay, and Jennifer Eaton is in favor. We're all in favor of sending the letter. Great. So can I get a motion to close the hearing?
motion to close the hearing.
seconded.
Okay. Joan Savoy, you approve to close the hearing?
yes,
James Gates, do you
Yes.
approve to close the hearing?
Yes.
And Jim LaQueer, do you approve
Yes.
to close the hearing? Ann LaQueer,
Yes,
do you approve to? And Jennifer Eaton approves. We're all in favor of closing the hearing. Okay, great. All right, we're still 3 minutes early for our 7:20 hearing for the ANRAD. Take a moment for that. Jessica, for that letter, you just send us a copy of it so that we have it for
Yes, that's fine. I can do that.
for our perusal.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll send out a draft before I finalize it, and then
All right, thank you.
for the next hearing for the ANRAD for 169 Main Street, it does look like the applicant and their consultant/agent is on. So
Oh, perfect.
if you are able to start early, I think we can go.
Awesome. Okay, so the time is now 7:18. And we will open our hearing for abbreviated notice of resource area delineation, DEP number 3080687, TWB 2021-114 is now open under the Wetlands Protection Act and the Townsend Wetland Bylaw. The applicant is David Werlin of 169 Main Street. The project / status, the applicant would like the Conservation Commission to review the accuracy of the ANRAD and improve the findings. Okay, so has everyone taken a look at this?
I don't think
Yes.
I saw-
Okay.
I don't think I saw that, Jen.
This is materials that I sent last Friday, December 3rd, under the Concom email number 1.
I saw they had their, it looks like everything is here. They have their list of abutters. I saw the ad that ran in the paper. I
that
think it was
bordered
5 days
vegetated,
ago. What's that, Joan?
oh, I'm sorry, I was saying the bordering vegetated wetlands delineation field form is really nicely done.
Sorry. Anna Jim, do you have that email? Were you able to pull it up?
Oh, I don't have my phone with me. Let me
Oh.
grab my phone.
Um, Come back.
Madam Chair, sorry, Spencer Tate with Meridian Land Services. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. I also have the materials that were disseminated as a PDF available if you
You want to share your screen?
if that's what keeps things moving forward or whatever,
Okay.
however you
Yeah,
guys want to operate, but that's certainly an option.
Okay, who would like the screen share?
Spencer Tate with Meridian is how it's labeled as my,
Okay, hold on one moment, Spencer.
sure.
Okay, you can now screen share.
So I'll pull up the plan, I suppose, if that's what
That's what I have.
helps. Otherwise, I can go through the application materials. But this is the subject site. It's 169 Main Street,
Yeah.
Townsend, Mass. It's map 26, lot 32. It's approximately 12 acres, and it's entirely located within the municipal limits. The area that was in question,
I did look at it.
I'm going to try to pan around here with my little computer onboard mouse here, so it might be a little hokey, but the area of delineation is here, the resource area. We walked the site I believe it was last Wednesday, Matt, Jessica, myself, and the Werlands, the applicants, and it sounded like there was a general consensus that the wetland areas were as they are and as they're depicted. The materials that were sent to the town include the ANRAD application. And I can cruise through those, but otherwise I'm available for questions, or I got to be completely frank with you. We're based out of not too far away, Amherst, New Hampshire. And I'd say 98% of the work I've done over the last 10 years has been north of our southern border, so north of your northern border. So I'm a little bit unfamiliar with the ANRAD application process. So please let me know if there's any additional information that you guys need in order to render some level of conclusion this evening.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
Excuse me, what are we actually looking at here to do right now?
The point of the ANRAD is essentially to approve the field wetland delineation that the consultant did for a property. So that's the level of the ANRAD is basically just to approve the wetland boundary.
Okay, now I understand, I think.
Yeah, and I did look at this. Mine is,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So I will just chime in that during the field visit last week, we walked pretty much the entirety of the site, including the upland areas. We did take some soil samples. We looked at different hydrologic conditions, and then we also, it's almost winter, so the leaves aren't on the trees. We did the best we could with vegetation identification. As far as I could see, the boundary for this wetland was pretty accurately delineated with the conditions that were found in the field. So in my opinion, where they mark as wetland is wetland, and where there are no wetlands, it's upland. So I give this a thumbs up.
Okay. Okay, so does anyone want to make a motion to approve the ANRAD for DEP 308-0687 and TWB 2021-114?
Now I'll make
So
a motion.
moved.
Yep. Both of us are hitting it.
I second it.
Okay.
Okay. Joan Savoy, are you in favor?
Yes.
James Gates, are you in favor?
Yes.
Ann LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
Jim LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
And Jennifer Eaton is in favor. So we're all in favor. Okay, great. So
Thank you.
the ANRAD has been approved. And Jessica, you'll complete the paperwork and
Yes. Right, so I'll issue the
Yes, that
paperwork, the order of resource area delineation. I will generate that paperwork on Friday back in the office. And then beginning of next week.
you'll
I
need
just
us to come in.
Sorry? Yep.
You'll
and then
need
I'll
us to
a
come in and
majority of you
sign
guys
it?
to come in and sign it. Yep, so at least 3 of the 5 of you will sign it. I will also co-sign it. And then I will send out a copy in the mail to Dave and Beverly. And then that's it. So that means that wetland boundary is approved for 3 years from the date that will be on that form that you get in the mail. And Spencer, I'll send you an electronic copy. I will also send a copy of the approval to DEP so that they have it on file. And then next phase is just keep in touch with any questions as you're working through your design. And we can do more wetland permitting if and as needed.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Cool. You're
Great.
free to leave. Merry Christmas.
Happy
Does
holidays,
anyone
guys.
else
Take
have
care.
anything?
Oh.
Okay, great. Can I get a motion to close the hearing?
I motion to close the hearing.
Seconded.
Okay, great. Jim LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
James Gates, are you in favor?
Yes.
Joan Savoy, are you in favor?
Yes.
Ann LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
And Jennifer Eaton is in, we're all in favor. Okay, great.
Thank you.
That hearing is now closed. And we'll head into 3.0 work session. Let's start with 3.1. TWB 2021-115 for North End Road request for determination of applicability for the removal of trees potentially within 100 feet of a resource area. Jessica, when was this site walk conducted?
This was last Wednesday.
Last Wednesday. Okay,
Yep.
great.
And we do have
has
the
everybody-
applicant Dana here as well.
Okay, great. Okay.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Does anybody have any, does anybody want to add anything?
Madam Chair, what are we looking to do at this time? We're going to approve or disapprove the fact that they want to cut trees down? Is that where we're at? I think so, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, I was on the site walk, and where the property line is to what the proposed wetlands would be, I don't think there's any problem and any issues with taking those trees down. I think they're all set.
Thank you. All right. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to add?
Yeah, I'd like to say, Jessica, I really appreciate your drawing on that, that view. Thank you. That was great.
My sketch drawing is very generous.
I have to see that.
But yeah, just from what we observed out in the field at the site walk, there is that stream over on the adjacent lot number 6 that would have a 100-foot buffer. And then across North End Road is sort of a bigger wetland valley. So that wetland would also have the 100-foot buffer off of it. So I totally eyeballed and sketched in about where the 100-foot buffer would be on lot number 4 there. So some trees would I assume some trees would come down at that location. You can barely see the outline of the house through the trees just above that pink number 4. But so many of those trees are dead, dying, branches broken. So I would recommend removal of those for the safety of that house and people on the property.
Okay. Okay. So can I get a motion to issue a -3 determination for TWB 2021-115?
So
So
moved.
moved.
All 3 of us.
Everyone's so
second it.
moved by this.
I'll second it.
Okay, so Joan Savoy, are you in favor?
Yes.
Jim LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
James Gates, are you in favor?
Yes.
Ann LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
And I, Jennifer Eaton, am in favor. We're all in favor of the -3 determination for TWB 2021-115. Great.
So Dana, what I'll do is I will issue you a formal response form, probably early to middle of next week. And if you have some time to come into town hall, I can walk you through it and discuss what it all means. But basically right now you're getting the approval to remove those trees.
Well, thank you all. Thank you for the swift walk and results of this. Thank you.
You're welcome. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So 3.2, discuss application status spreadsheet. So did everybody get the email with the invitation to the Dropbox that Matt sent?
Matt, that is a beautiful thing you put together. Thank you.
It's very impressive, Matt, I have to say.
I thought it looked a little clunky. I'm glad to hear you say that just because there's so many columns, but I'm glad you think so.
I think
So-
the only thing is to figure out, how we'll just have to figure out how you can print it on 2 full sheets of paper to tape them, so you can actually read the thing. But just it's such a blessing to have like everything like right there. You can go right down the list for the year, and because we've never had it, and it's wonderful. Thank you so much.
No problem.
It will
And
track.
you should be able to see it as I edit. So as things come in for the next meeting, I'll continue to add them. And right now, I think you guys just have viewing power, but if you want me to give you editing power, I can do that.
Great.
It's a great resource for Concom that did not exist before. So really, thanks, Matt.
No
It's
problem.
going to keep things moving and very organized. So we really appreciate it. Okay, so that's there for everybody for their viewing enjoyment and informational. Okay. So 3.3, approve payment for MACC handbook and conservation admins membership fee, class and fees. Is it class fees or class and fees?
It's the year membership and then the class fees.
Okay.
So like, I think it'd be $55 per class moving forward.
Okay, great.
So, Madam Chair, I have those invoices
Okay.
from MACC. So I have
Yep.
a $15 invoice for the electronic environmental handbook, which is a fabulous resource for Concom. And Jen and Jessica and Matt, you've got access to that now?
I haven't.
I don't
actually
have
looked into
access to it.
Jessica,
I don't know if
no?
we'll get it until they receive payment or not.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
admittedly have not actually checked.
Yeah, they
so
want
I'll
cash
check today.
first.
That's different for this is not how it used to be, but that's fine. And then I also have the invoice for Matt's membership. And then also, so I'm gonna make 3 motions, one to pay for the handbook, one to pay for Matt's membership, and then one to pre-approve Matt's 8 classes for a total of $440. Okay?
Make a motion to accept that. so stated.
Okay, we'll just put it all in one big motion, Ann?
Yeah,
Yes.
Cool. All right. So that would be actually
second it.
$515 total
yeah.
for the electronic handbook, Matt's membership, and the A class.
I will just add, I was able to look at the calendar for the classes moving forward, and it looks like the next class isn't until January 12th, which unfortunately enough is our next meeting. So I wasn't sure if the class should take precedent or if I should wait for another time. Up to you guys.
No,
I
you
guess.
should take the class.
Yeah,
Yeah.
take the class.
Okay.
Is it like the 101 or one of the 100 level ones?
Yeah, it's 101. It's 6:30 to 8:30 on January 12th. which
Okay.
is, of
Yeah,
course.
I think they offer those like only quarterly, so I'd jump
Oh,
on
okay.
it while you can.
Sounds good.
Okay, great. And what was the total of the 3 items, Joan?
515. And that would be
Even.
paid out of the WPA fund.
Okay, great. Okay, so we have a motion to approve 3 items totaling $515.
I
Did we get a
second.
second? Okay, so Joan Sabor, are you in favor?
Yes.
James Gates, are you in favor?
Yes.
Jim LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
Ann LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes,
And Jennifer Eaton is in favor. We are all in favor. So we can approve that, and good luck with your classes, Matt.
Thank you
It'll be nice to have that handbook too.
for sure.
Okay. 3.4, discuss options for future land protection of Squanicook Meadows. This was the conservation restriction, and I believe where we left off in the discussion was we left off with that who was going to be the holder of the CR, and it was not, I believe we're in agreement that it wasn't going to be us.
Jessica, you sent out a very comprehensive email to us. I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, I just clicked something. I don't know what I clicked. Oh, my screen went away. Anyway, sometime in November, I made a table kind of comparing the 2 options. If you went the CR route or the deed and fee route. So
Deed
hopefully
and
that-
feed route.
Deed and fee, thank you. So hopefully that kind of helps organize and explain it a little bit better. There we go.
Do you have it on your screen?
Yeah,
you share
it's
your
in
screen?
the email that I sent to you guys on Friday, December 3rd, Concom number 3. It is in that email chain.
All right. Would it be possible for you to share your screen so that we can see it?
I'm trying to do that right now. Let's see.
Well,
oh, just so not my whole email's popping up. So hang tight.
Jessica, I can give you screen sharing hours if you so wish.
thanks, Hartley.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm just on a laptop, so my screen doesn't actually fill the whole table, but that's fine. Let's try
Okay.
it.
I'll give you the screen sharing option. Let me just give me a second here.
All right.
Okay, go right ahead. Right ahead.
This is it. All right. So here we are. So again, sorry, I'm just on a laptop, so it gets cut off. But hopefully you guys are also looking at the table on phones or your own computer screens. So based on my understanding of the 2 options that the BOS will be reviewing in greater detail in a few weeks, I broke it down into who would, take ownership of the documents, the CR and the deed and fee transfer, about how long either of those two options would be associated with the property. The language, just kind of layman's terms, how much involvement technically we would need to have, about how long the generation of each of those two types of protections would take to do, if there are any monitoring provisions for each of them, and then just a general involvement of the Conservation Commission in the preparation of the agreements and just with their just moving forward. So I won't read verbatim. You guys can read, but if
Thank
anyone has
you.
any questions, let me know. So again, I think we've talked about too, the Board of Selectmen will be the ones ultimately deciding which route to take. But because conservation is going to play kind of a key role, whether we do the CR or the deed and fee, they graciously asked for our opinion on which route you would prefer to go. So that's the discussion we wanted to have tonight to be able to offer, so I can generate a response for the BOS prior
Okay.
to their January 7th or 5th or something meeting.
Madam Chair, I'm all for the conservation restriction
Okay.
route.
Does anybody else have an opinion of what they'd like to see happen?
No.
I got to table that.
We're gonna table it for next meeting?
Yeah, that would probably, for me, that would be comfortable, yes.
Okay.
When is BOS gonna,
I think they're meeting to discuss and decide on this
yeah,
before our next meeting. Veronica's raising her hand.
so we need to discuss this, get this, because this has been the second or third time we've looked at this.
Right.
Can I speak?
Yes, of
Jen?
course, Veronica.
I just want to say that our meeting is the 4th of January, and it's on the agenda for then. The reason being that we have a deed extension through the end of March. So whatever route we're going to be going, we need to move the deed extension, agreement extension with TESA, so that they can, the sooner we know this, the better. So it is on our agenda for the 4th of January. So, and you guys aren't meeting the rest of this month, correct?
No, our
So-
next meeting will be January 12th.
I'm just thinking, it depends on, the sooner we know, the better. I think that the BOS is going to start moving forward on the 4th with this, one way or the other. We could post a joint meeting for the 4th, if that works for you. And you all could discuss at that time. That's another option. I'm just afraid to let it go too long. That's all. So,
Okay, thanks.
but if you can't make a decision tonight, I could move it out 2 weeks, I suppose, but I wouldn't go any longer than that. So, thank you.
Thanks. Does anybody else have anything they want to bring to the discussion?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I would just like to say, I just, I just don't think it's a good idea for conservation to own this. I mean, it's, the commission is too fluid and, especially highlighted by the fact that we just got the list of the 30 properties owned by the Conservation Commission. Who knew, so I think this should be in the hands of somebody who's like really on top of it, so I'm sticking with the conservation restriction.
Okay. Does anybody else want to bring forth an opinion?
I'm going to agree with that myself.
Yeah, with what Joan just said, I tend to agree with that.
Okay. James Gates, do you have an opinion you'd like to add?
I agree with Joan on this.
Okay. I also agree with Joan. So do we want to take a motion, do we want to make a motion to submit our opinion?
I'll make a
Being that
motion
we-
to submit our opinion. Did you hear me?
Yes. Can I get a second?
Second,
Okay. James Gates, are you in favor of submitting our opinion for conservation restriction to the BOS?
Yes.
Joan Savoy, are you in favor?
Yes.
Jim LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
Ann LaQueer, are you in favor?
yes.
And Jennifer Eaton is in favor. We're all in favor. So we will send the conservation restriction option to the BOS as our comment, I guess. Okay, so 3.5. Vote to change the 2010 fee schedule changes to forward to BOS for approval. So I received James and Jim's copy, and I'm looking at it side by side with Joan's. Has everybody been able to compare these two fee schedules?
Madam Chair?
Yes,
have-
Joan.
I have not been able to, but also I'm asking that we defer this to the next meeting, and this is why. I asked the town accountant to supply me the end of year totals in the WPA Conscom bank account for each of the past 5 years. Because I thought if we're talking about fees, because these all go into that account, it would be good to know what that account has looked like at the end of every year for the last 5 years to see how much it's growing by, if it's growing at all. And, you know, Terry is only working part-time, and so I basically got a lot of numbers and I have to suss them out. So I'd like to vote on this on January 12th, please. And then I could present, I think it's germane to present the balances, so we'll have an idea of how much money is actually going into that account every year. Because, you know, Townsend's actually only, and I know this following figure because I'm on the Affordable Housing Trust and we had a housing production plan done. The housing at Townsend has only built 42 housing units since 2015. And that's not a lot of fees. And then you add, you know, the occasional fee that Conscom takes in for something else that's maybe not a new home or something. But I don't think we're talking about a tremendous amount of money going into that WPA fund every year. So I thought we should have those numbers.
Can we move the question?
Yes. Can we get a motion to continue?
At the next meeting,
To January 12th.
correct.
Veronica, do you have your hand up?
I think it's just still up from before, maybe. Okay, so I have a motion to move the discussion for fee schedule change to the January 12th meeting.
Second.
Okay. Jim LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
And Joan Savoy, are you in favor?
Yes.
James Gates, are you in favor?
Yes.
Ann LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes,
Okay, and Jennifer Eaton is in favor. It's all in favor. And all right, so we'll continue that discussion at our next meeting. 3.6, consider approval for tree removal on town land behind 1 Capricorn Lane. I attended the site walk with with Matt and Jessica a couple weeks ago. And it's like a strip of land behind the applicant's house, and the trees are in pretty bad shape, I observed. They're looking to take down trees that pose a danger, but it's on land that is owned by Conscom.
Madam Chair, I have
Yes.
a little bit of history on all those little strips of land in Timberley Park that are owned by Concom. It's because
Yeah.
Timberley apparently was its own water department when those 500 homes were put into that development. And then down the road, when the town bought that Witches Brook well site and everything, those little strips of land just have the water pipes under them,
Okay.
I believe.
I know there's other areas in town that have water under them too. I don't know if Concom owns those. I didn't look at
We
the
own them,
spreadsheet,
yeah.
but that's good to know, Joan.
Thank you. It's an odd thing. It's an odd fact.
Yeah.
We wanted to get the building approved, so.
Are the trees close enough to the house to be in harm's way in a big wind and they fall?
Yeah.
They're very tall, very skinny pine trees.
And that land belongs to Conscom, and that abutter feels he's in harm's way and wants to remove him. Now, would they have to go through Consul to find out if we can let them do that on our property?
That's what I'm doing right now. So we do have initial, I guess, approval through town council. The letter that I attached in my Concom email number 4, that has sort of been preliminarily reviewed by town council and approved. And then I'm working with them on a right of entry agreement right now, which essentially would excuse the town of any liability if something were to happen, if the arborist or landscaping firm that went in there was injured.
Okay.
So is it our decision right now to decide whether to let somebody take the trees down? What do we have for right now? I'm not quite in line.
No, not quite.
So, Jessica, if I'm correct, it's basically for our approval. They're not submitting an RDA or anything like
Right.
that. It's different.
It's outside of like regulatory. It's outside of your jurisdictional area. It's literally just trees on conservation-owned land.
And we're the owner.
Correct.
Right.
So I don't know. This is also just meant as sort of an FYI. This is what's happening. But of course, if anyone has any feedback on this letter or a right of entry agreement or just the scenario in general, happy to hear that.
I have a question, if I may.
Yes.
If Concom owns the land, why would they not be responsible to remove the trees if they're threatening the property of the landowner that abuts the land? Why would the owner of the land that abuts this be responsible for removing trees on conservation land?
So the owner, this owner on 1 Capricorn Lane, his backyard neighbor is 2 Gemini Lane. And in between their two property boundaries is this tiny strip of conservation-owned land. And there are no known property surveys or deed language or anything that actually specifies where the property boundaries are. So no one is, and we don't even know how wide this conservation land or easement or whatever it is. It could be 5 feet, it could be 30 feet. No one knows. So these trees that are leaning toward his house, he doesn't know if they're on his property, if they're on conservation property, or if they're on his backyard neighbors at 2 Gemini's property. No one really knows where the boundary is, which is why we're kind of keeping our letter general while still trying to absolve us of any liability.
Okay.
May I have the floor?
Yes, Jim.
In the event of this, I think the best thing to do is, because it's become 3 parties instead of 2, I think that somebody should foot the bill and have the boundary shot by a legal surveyor and staked out so we determine where the trees are. It's not our bill to pay. If they want to find out who owns the trees, somebody can pay for that engineer and stake it.
Mm.
Or we could just tell them that they can take the trees down.
I go with that. I mean, if Jessica, if you saw it, you think it's okay for them to go ahead and you consulted with that, you consulted with Adam, did you not, about the verbiage as far as we're not liable or anything?
That's what we're currently working on.
Yeah, okay. And their neighbors not, and the neighbors with it and everything, I say, don't make them spend the money.
Yeah, I mean, all we've had is a conversation in person and over the phone with this landowner. So there's nothing in writing yet, but from what he said, he has been notifying his sort of backyard abutter neighbor of this. And I think he's trying to help them or get them to help pay. But he has not mentioned at all having the town split the bill on this.
Excuse me, this is Hartley. Does anyone need an additional screen share?
Not at this time.
Okay. It looked like someone was trying to find something on their laptop, so I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Well, should we make a motion then to approve the tree removal pending verbiage for a letter for Jessica to write that she gets approval from Adam?
With
I wrote the
approval,
letter. I'm just waiting on the right of entry agreement.
There's legalities there beyond and above what I'm knowledgeable of, so I'm not making any more comments, but I'm not favorable to what's going on.
You're not favorable
I'm not favorable, no.
to have the trees removed, to let
Well,
them remove
to
the
just give somebody permission to remove the trees, there's gotta be a certificate of insurance from the people that are taking the trees down. There's a whole bunch of controversy that goes there. And to just say that we say take the trees down and we haven't got anything to back us, and if the person that takes the tree down hits the guy's house, he unhooks the chain and drives off, who's responsible? So I don't agree with that way of thinking. It's got to be done by the law.
I think in the right of entry agreement, one of the provisions is going to be for the landowner to, I did ask to include that landowner marks or spray paints or something the trees that he plans to take down, so that we can go out and take photographs, or I can look at it or something ahead of
yeah,
time.
I think Jim needs to get eyes on that area and see, what's going on. I think that would be helpful to sort of get a scope of the whole the whole issue and area.
I did take some pictures. I'm gonna see if I still have them and I can share them with everybody on
Oh,
Friday.
nice.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I forgot you took the pictures. Great.
I do.
Yeah, I also trust town council's input.
Oh, okay. looking for a right, they're doing a right of passage. Giving the guy who wants the land on Capricorn Lane, giving him permission to be on the property, on
Yeah.
The photographs are on my computer at work, but I will share those on Friday.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right, great. All right.
Are you taking any more comments on this?
Yes, of course.
One other thing that came to mind is we have another situation where there's going to be trees being moved, and we made it to be done in the cold weather months, January and February. And if
Yeah.
they're going to be among water again here, should we make sure that they don't make a mess when there's no ice on the water?
There's no water there.
No, there's no water there.
Yeah, there's no wetlands or anything around it. It's a very residential cul-de-sac.
It's not even a resource area. It's
Oh,
more like,
okay, well, I'm glad I'm hearing this now, because I didn't see it, I'm sorry. All right, I'll
You know what?
withdraw my statement.
the easiest way to explain it is that it's very different from what we normally do. It's more like Conscom is the landowner and our neighbor is saying, your tree is gonna fall on my house. Can I pay for it to have it taken down? And our answer is, that's basically, that's what the situation is here. Wouldn't you agree, Jessica?
I
Okay,
think so, yeah.
yeah, okay, thank you.
Yep. So do we want to table this, or do somebody want to make a motion?
At this
To
time, I'd like to
approve?
throw out what I had said, and I think we should go for it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
make a motion to approve the tree removal on the town land behind 1 Capricorn Lane.
Seconded.
Great. Great. Joan Savoy, are you in favor?
Yes,
Jim LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
Ann LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes,
James Gates, are you in favor?
Yes.
And I, Jennifer Eaton, am in favor. Great, we're all in favor of approving the removal of the trees on land owned by conservation. Great. So you'll get the verbiage from town council, and what was that? What were you working on, Jessica? That right of entry?
Right of entry agreement.
entry. That's what I was trying to tell you.
Okay, right of entry. Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay, so 3.7, review the list of lands owned by the Conservation Commission.
Hey, Jennifer.
And there's like, yes,
Actually, so that strip of land, based on another one that's right next to it, it's about 12 feet wide. So just so everyone knows.
okay, thank you. Okay, so has everybody seen the list of land owned by the Conservation Commission?
yes.
Like 30 properties on there.
Madam Chair, what I don't understand is on the back side of that list, is that other stuff? The the chapter 40 protection pieces, the gift of OSPD, you know, Meeting House Park, Article 97 protection. I don't know what any of that is.
OSPD.
Or you know what, is that a column? Is that the next set of columns that's supposed to be attached to the front?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Is that if there are 30 lines there, that would be it.
Like
Yep,
this.
yep, yep. So it would be really fun to know where all these are. be very time consuming, I'm sure, but,
They're everywhere.
right, they're everywhere. And all those little strips, we'd have to be plodding through people's yards.
Being a hunter going through town, there's actual trees that still have our signs on them, conservation land.
We saw one last week at that 169 Main Street and Rad site, that little like green and white circle plaque.
The second column next to Townsend, it's TCC, Townsend Conservation Commission. The second column with the numbers, that's acreage?
I think so.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have anything to add to that?
I'm glad this came out. Jessica, you did this?
Yeah, I don't even remember what prompted it, but
Yeah.
someone was discussing conservation on land and I didn't even know.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
You know, it's never, it's news to all of us, I think, so it's good to know. And so, you know, now it's in our radar and we can, you know, maybe, I mean, some of these are sizable pieces. We could start checking them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one Main Street, 55 acres.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe if you, I don't really know what the fate of any of these is, but if you guys are interested, sort of when we foresee kind of having slightly slower weeks, Matt and I could maybe take a trip to, and, you know, tackle a few of these parcels at a time just to make sure, you know, there's no trash dumped or
Yeah,
whatever,
take some
people live in
pictures.
there, something like that. But yeah, if there's pristine habitat, maybe we can talk about some sort of preservation for that property. But
Cool.
given the size of these, a lot of them are like 2.5 acres. That might be some of those weird little easements. But we can just start sort of slowly tackling a few of them.
That's a great idea. So we'll have a catalog, you know?
Yeah. Yep. That's great. Thank you for doing that, Jessica.
I want to go.
Yeah, I'll invite you
Yeah,
guys.
I'll
Probably won't be
definitely.
on Wednesdays. It might just be like a spur of the moment. We need to go outside type of thing, but
Yeah, when the weather's nicer, we can get into all that.
precisely, yeah.
Okay, so 3.8, review draft form for request for agent consultation. Did everybody get to look at this form?
Yep.
We talked about this before. So this will just be a new form that we use, or do we have to approve it?
Up to you guys.
I think it's got a fee attached with it, so I think we should approve it, Madam Chair.
I also
Okay.
just put that number in there, so you guys are free to change that as well.
I think the fee should be $30, not 25.
I thought we were tabling that for the next meeting.
No, that's this. This isn't the other one.
Oh, that's my mistake, dang it.
I
Okay,
think the fee should be less than the RD, whatever we determine the RDA fee to be, but the existing RDA fee is $25. I think both versions of proposed fees are at least $30 or $35. So that's why I went with $25, but
so
Okay.
should we table this until we approve the new fee schedule?
Probably.
Okay. Okay, so we'll continue this, and we'll table it for the next meeting. Okay. All right, so 3.9, we have Joan Watkowitz from Squanicook Greenways and the NRWA, she's on the meeting. She would like to introduce herself to our new staff members, Jess and Matt. And Joan does a lot of great work with us, with the NRWA and Squanicook Greenways. Hi, Joan.
Hi, so there's no $30 fee, right, for this?
Oh, you're supposed to pay up front.
Originally, I just wanted to introduce myself to Jessica and Matthew because I think there's a lot of, it's not just official business with the commission, but there's a lot of things I'm involved with that are possible opportunities for collaboration. But I'm on the agenda, so I'll try to be quick, and I'd like to just go through this with the whole commission. Just a couple items. First of all is the Nashua River Watershed Association. I've been on the board of directors for about 5 years, starting as a water monitor. But I've also been on many committees, including, for instance, a climate impact committee, in which we developed a whole website on how climate change is impacting the Nashua River watershed and mitigation strategies. So potentially that could be a resource for this commission somewhere down the road. It's available from the Nashua River Watershed Association homepage. Another thing that might be of interest to this commission is a riparian buffer project that was conducted a couple of years ago to put native plantings along exposed banks of the rivers and help to control invasives. This was a project by I think the Merrimack River Watershed Council won a grant to do this. But I just found out today that this project has come around again. So years ago, they planted some along Hawthorne Brook in my own backyard, and also along the bank of the Squanicook near Adams Dam. Some of you may have been involved in that or remember it. Some of those plantings didn't work out so well, but they're ready to do it again. So you might think about, shall we do Adams Dam again, or are there other, can we identify other sites in Townsend that really need some plantings to control erosion along the riverbank? If you do, I would suggest, if Al Futterman from the Watershed does not contact you, you might think about contacting him if you're interested. And the last thing I'd say about the NRWA is that I think the commission recently reinstated their membership, and thank you for that. And if there's any synergies or if I can help with anything, just Jennifer and Joan know how to contact me. Any questions on NRWA? So the second thing I want to talk about is the Wild and Scenic Stewardship Council. Because as a lot of people know, this council was formed when the Nashua, the Squanicook, and the Nissitissit rivers were designated part of the National Park Service's partnership program. And we formed a council to advance goals of the stewardship plan. So the stewardship plan itself is a pretty hefty and volume and possibly a useful resource. I think there's a copy in the town clerk's office and there's one in the town library. So I gave an annual report to the Board of Selectmen last night about what this council has accomplished in the past year, and including our Forest Legacy program, which will protect about 2,500 acres of forest in our area if it's approved at the national level, and Townsend was involved in this project. Another area that might be of interest to this commission is the community grants. Last year was our first year of this program, and we offered small grants to municipalities or nonprofits to do projects that would advance the goals of the stewardship plan along our rivers. And Townsend won 2 grants, one to do some conservation near Adams Dam, and the Historical Society also won a grant. So these grants are now open for this year, and that also is accessible from the NRWA homepage. And applications I do February 1. So it's just another thing to consider. An additional thing to consider is network breakfasts for conservation agents and commissions. I hope you guys are receiving invitations. They've been ongoing for a while on some interesting topics. If you're not getting invitations, there was just one this past week. I think that I was unable to attend, but if you're not getting these invitations, please let me know or contact Al Futterman, because there's some interesting programs.
Yeah, it sounds great. I didn't get an invitation to a breakfast.
Well,
Bring your own breakfast.
they're just online. They're just in the Zoom era. They've just been online talks.
Oh, it's bring your own pancakes?
Yeah, whatever. Nobody gets fed really, but there's really interesting.
Mr. Soul.
And I'll make sure that probably the invitations should go through Jessica, right?
Sure, yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
We didn't have an agent to really connect with. So, another on the subject of the Wild and Scenic Stewardship Council, one last thing I would say is to make an appeal for a second representative on the council, because there's 11 towns represented, and they almost all have a representative and an alternate. And I'm Townsend's solo person, and there's conservation agents from Massachusetts and New Hampshire. There's representation from Audubon Society, from MACC, from Fisheries and Wildlife, and I'm probably the least qualified person in the room. So to get some help from Townsend would be incredible. So any questions about wild?
Okay, Joan.
So
does anybody have any questions?
The last thing I'll talk about is the one that's probably most important to me, is the Swana River Rail Trail. And as you know, we finished the first 1.1 miles last year, and it's from Depot Street to Old Meeting House Road. And the construction we really adhered closely to the orders and conditions, including erosion control barriers and a pre-construction site visit with the commission, and daily inspections and soil stabilization, and constructing only in November through March. James Gates knows, because he was out there freezing. So, and that trail has been open since spring, and it's been very popular. It's seldom empty.
Yeah, nice job. Very nice job.
We had a wonderful opening celebration. There were more than 100 people there, including state senators and a U.S. representative. And we did a trail user count on October 24th, and people took on our board of directors. People took shifts, and we're out there from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock. We counted 102 people, and probably most of them were walkers, most of them were adults, but there were a lot of kids on bikes, a lot of strollers, and 18 dogs all on leash. So it's nice to have that data. So the next section, from Old Meeting House Road to Harbor Pond, less than a mile. We've been working hard on fundraising. We believe we have some ARPA money earmarked for that, but we had to start soon because our build season is November through March. So I'm happy to say someone was out there today. James, was that you?
Yes, it was.
It was me waving to you from I went out
I know.
for myself.
Were you the one that was out there removing the railroad ties?
Yep.
I saw somebody out there removing railroad ties when I came by today.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So our idea is we're just going to get the ties out of there, and then we have a walking trail. That section was the roughest. If and when the ARPA money comes through, we hope to be able to finish construction on that section by March.
That's great.
Weather cooperates. So our orders of condition was issued in 2019, July 24th. So that's valid through 2022.
Right.
Our DEP file number, the signs got kind of decrepit. I didn't make new ones. I'll put them up. I'll try to make them tomorrow and put them up there. So the erosion control barriers are still in place. We'll look and repair them as needed. And if the commission wants to tour, or if anybody wants a private tour, you know, let us know. Let me know.
Great. I'd love to
Thank
take
you,
you up on
Joan.
that. That
Thank
sounds
you.
nice to go out and see it.
So I guess that's all I want. I could go on forever. I could go on about Howard Park, our hidden gem in the center of town, which is a 40-acre park along Hawthorne Brook and Swana River, which almost no one knows about. And about the Shared Streets and Spaces program, which Joan and Jennifer are part of, which should help with that, because we're going to have some signs pointing to some of these natural areas where people can hike and just get out in nature. So unless there's some questions, and just thanks for putting me on the agenda, and feel free to contact me about any of this.
Yeah, thank you, Joan. It's always nice to hear from you and all the great stuff you
Thank you,
guys are
Joan.
doing.
Thank you, Joan.
Thanks for all you do,
Thanks
Joan
for the
W.
introduction.
Thank you guys for all you do.
Okay, great. So, I'm sorry, I'm about to lose my camera. I'm so sorry. I'm going through the same thing with my own camera. I'm literally gonna have to hold it in place. Okay. So 3.10 is discuss and review a volunteer application from Mr. David Vigilant, who is the water superintendent here in Townsend, to potentially serve on the Conservation Commission. So that, I don't know if that should be in correspondence or, but if anybody has any thoughts on that, we did receive a volunteer response form from him.
Is he on the call?
I don't believe so.
No.
Jen, Mr. Vigilant lives in what? He's not a Townsend resident, correct?
No, I have his,
Kingsborough.
I'm sorry, I can't let go of this. I have,
No, it's not in Townsend. God,
I had his,
I think he lives in Kingsborough.
Tingsboro, that's it, yep. Yes, he's a resident of Tingsboro, but I guess we have a low enough population where people from other towns can be commissioners on our Conservation Commission.
correct.
So we have to vote to advance this to the BOS with a recommendation or not, correct, Madam Chair?
I don't think so. I think we have to vote to advance it.
Yeah, we have to give our recommendation to the BOS.
They did that
Okay.
previously, but they're not doing that recently.
Say that again, Jim?
They did that previously, several years ago, is how that worked. But with the new Board of Selectmen, that's not how it works today.
Yes.
That's not my understanding.
have
My
to appoint.
understanding
They
is
have to.
we're voting to recommend or not recommend to the BOS does the appointment.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Is Veronica still on the call?
Yes.
Veronica, are we supposed to approve to advance the applicant, or does the BOS take care of that?
Your thoughts are certainly, typically it is the way it works. You send to the BOS who you are interested in, and then the BOS goes forward or not with the appointments.
Okay. Okay, so they
Thank you.
are looking for our input. And do
So
any, go ahead, Joan.
My input is that I think it's great, Mr. Vigian put in a form, but since he's not on the call, that is, sorry, he's not on the call. And also, I would have so many questions, you know, as in what other boards has he ever been on? Why our town? Why isn't he volunteering in Tingsboro? Plus, you know, as the water commissioner, I mean, I call over there not infrequently to get input on things. So, I mean, his expertise is always available to us. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I had some
Well-
questions as well.
Based on what he listed for experience, the land surveyor, wetland biologist, water work, you know, it's just another perspective when we have to discuss projects. It also creates, you know, right now, if one of us is out, there's no quorum, if I'm not mistaken. And I feel that, you know, getting another person in there is going to be crucial, right? You know, for us to keep going forward.
If one of us is out, we still have a quorum.
Okay, well, still another person on that with that sort of experience, especially working right in town, is a, you know, I think he would do well.
I appreciate that, James. I disagree. I think it's a big conflict.
You what?
A big conflict. She thinks it's a conflict of interest.
But that's okay. We're going to vote.
How can we
Well,
vote if we're not all done discussing it? I'm sitting here.
No, I know. I'm not saying we're voting right now.
Pardon
Yeah,
me?
I'd like to hear everybody's opinion of thoughts of if they have any concerns about this applicant.
Well, I'm with Joan too. It'd be nice if he could meet with us during the next meeting, and you know, kind of like what I did when I was asked about joining the commission. You know, just have the floor for a couple minutes, talk about myself, and answer any questions.
Was he notified that it would be discussed this evening?
He was not. I did not know the protocol for this. So this is the last minute addition to the agenda, but I can absolutely reach out to him and get
We
him.
won't blame him for not being at this meeting.
You don't blame anybody.
No.
And I don't think, Jessica, it's not really on you either, because I think we're all new to this, and
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's
you know,
not yet. Don't worry.
No.
Okay, I think that works. I will reach out to him and send him an invitation to the meeting on January 12th. Then, and that way he can speak for his own experience. So I think that's good to do.
Thanks, Jessica.
Yeah, thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So, okay. I think we're going to, I just lost my agenda and I'm holding on to my camera. So I think the next, oh, I got it. Okay. Correspondence. We don't have any correspondence for this meeting. 5.0 education and conferences. Matt, you had mentioned that the Fundamentals 101 is the next class that's
Yeah, that's the next one
available.
offered, on January 12th. I'm guessing they take a month off around the holidays. It seems like.
Yep. Cool. Okay, so items for discussion at next meeting. We have the fee schedule. We have the volunteer response form applicant that Jessica will reach out and invite.
The 3.8, the draft or request for agent consultation.
Yes.
That was-
Yep, that'll be settled once we vote on the fee schedule, and that goes to, so that'll be on there for a while, I think.
Yeah.
And I think
Sidewalk
that's
protocol.
sidewalk protocol. Yeah, and I think that's it for now.
The right of entry agreement.
Oh, yep, for one Capricorn.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, we'll be expecting the letter.
David's application too, right? To serve in the CC. Did you say that?
I think that was on there, yeah.
Okay. So the next meeting will be Wednesday, January 12th, 2022.
Yay!
It says 2021,
My bad.
but it will be 2022. I didn't catch that.
It's crazy.
At 7 p.m. virtual Zoom. So the time is now 8:32. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So be it.
Second.
Okay, Joan Savoy. Do I get an emotion? I'm sorry. Do you approve the adjournment to adjourn at 7:32?
Sayonara. Yes.
James Gates,
Yes.
do you agree? Jim LaQueer, do you approve?
Yes.
Ann LaQueer, do you approve?
Yes.
And I, Jennifer Eaton, also approve. Okay, the meeting is now adjourned.
I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a very happy, healthy New Year.
Thank you, same to
Ann.
you.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I want to
happy-
thank Jessica and Matt for
Healthy.
everything. Oh my
To all-
goodness.
to all of you
guys
as
are
well.
great.
Big
And-
time.
Thank
We're
you
very
all as
grateful.
well.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Stay safe.